Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Continuing with Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter number 6, Dhyana Yoga, text number 40. Shri Bhagavano Vacha Partha Naiveha Namutra Vinashastasya Vidyate Nahi Kalyana Krit Kasche Durgatim Tata Gacchati. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, Son of Pritha, a transcendentalist engaged in auspicious activities does not meet with destruction either in this world or in the spiritual world. One who does good, my friend, is never overcome by evil. Om Agyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So we are continuing with chapter number 6. It's a very long chapter. But towards the end, especially the last verse of this chapter, we will get the summary of the whole chapter of this Bhagavad Gita. Now, this particular verse that we read and the subsequent verses that we will read till verse number 44, Krishna is going to give Arjuna the knowledge about the destination of a yogi who has been unsuccessful. You see, in this material world, we measure everything with success and failure. How successful are we? The same applies for spirituality also. Are we successful on our spiritual path? If not, then what? That is a very important question. So Krishna says there is no destruction or loss, either in this world or in the spiritual world. So whatever bhakti yoga we practice in our lives on a daily basis, it never goes in vain. Say, for instance, I want to hold a PhD degree. So for that, of course, I have to finish my high school, my graduation, and then comes post-graduation. So now I'm working on my thesis. I want to get that degree of PhD, and I'm working and working hard, but I give it up after some time. So then what happens? In my next life, do I continue from where I left off on my thesis? No, I have to start from scratch again. But in spiritual life, Krishna is telling Arjuna that when we take up bhakti yoga, the process of devotional service to him, say, for instance, in this life, I only perform, say, 50%, of bhakti. Then in my next life, I'll not start from scratch. I'll start from 51% from where I left off. So you see, that's the difference between material bank balance and spiritual bank balance. Material bank balance goes zero in next life, whereas spiritual bank balance continues from where we left off. There was a gentleman who was working very hard doing 2 jobs because he wanted to save a lot of money for his retirement. So he thought, once I retire, then I won't have to worry about how am I going to pay my bills, etc. So he would use the money that he received from his first job for maintenance, and whatever he received from his second job, he would put it in his savings account. So then after many years of hard work, he went to the bank to see the balance of his savings account, because that is what was going to sustain him for the rest of his life. And when he gave his account information, the teller in the bank said, "Excuse me, sir, You had zero balance. And he almost got a heart attack. He said, I have been saving so much money, all my paycheck from one job into this account. She said, well, where have you been depositing? And he gave the account number. It was the wrong account number. Can you imagine? All his savings was going to somebody else. He could not get any of his money from the savings account because balance was zero. That is what we do in this material life. We are saving into the material bank account, which is going to be zero balance when we go into the next body. There's going to be nothing that we can carry forward with us. But the spiritual bank balance continues from where we left off. So Krishna is telling Arjuna, even if a yogi is unsuccessful, maybe a dhyana yogi, jnana yogi, karma yogi, or bhakti yogi, it doesn't matter. There is no destruction or loss, and will not overcome by any evil. You see? So now the question is how to become a successful yogi. And that there is a requirement for that. Just like I want to apply for a job, there are basic requirements. I should be able to speak English. I should have a degree. I probably should have some experience, etc., etc. There's some requirement for me to get the job. Similarly, there is a requirement for becoming a successful yogi, and that is complete surrender. We are afraid of the word surrender, but Krishna is saying there has to be complete surrender. And surrender is possible when we have knowledge, when we understand what is the meaning of surrender. We need to follow the process given to us by Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. You see, we may become very successful materially, but what is the use of that? Everything material is lost, but spiritual advancement, even if it's incomplete, it is okay. No need to worry. You see, unfortunately, because we are in this material world, in the material body, we have forgotten our constitutional position. We've forgotten who we are. We've forgotten what we are supposed to do. We've forgotten the Supreme Lord. But if we take on this process of Bhakti Yoga from the knowledge given in the Bhagavad Gita, then we will be able to even continue in our next life. Why is it that only just a few of you are hearing Bhagavad Gita right now? Because all of us have accumulated piety in our previous life. That is why we have got this opportunity to hear the Bhagavad Gita. It is not for everybody. Why is it that some people are born in the family of devotees who are already practicing Bhakti Yoga? How come? That is because they are continuing from where they left off in their previous life. Why is it that some get opportunity to hear Bhagavad Gita? But of course, then there is a freedom of choice. Okay, I have this opportunity. Do I want to take it or no? You see, there are two kinds of people, Prabhupada says in the purport. Two kinds of people. Those who are regulated and those who are unregulated. So those who are not regulated, they are interested in only satisfying the senses, which is temporary. And that is also, you can consider a sort of exploitation. To satisfy the senses, we do exploit others or situations or whatever it may be. There's exploitation. And the end result of exploitation is unhappiness. But we think it is happiness. I remember hearing this story. I'm not sure if I've related this before, but there was the husband who was kind of very sick. So the wife took the husband to the doctor and wanted the doctor to figure out what's going on. So he asked the wife, to wait outside while he was doing, he was diagnosing. And then he called the wife in and he asked the husband to now go and sit outside at the reception while he talks to the wife. So the wife was now concerned. What is it? Is it something very, is my husband really very sick? Is there a cure for what problem he has? So the doctor explained to the wife. He said, your husband will live, but there are certain things you will need to follow for him to survive. Otherwise, you're going to lose him. He's going to die. She said, oh, tell me anything that I can do. I will definitely do to save my husband's life. Please tell me what I need to do. He said, first of all, you cannot get angry at him. You cannot make him do chores in the house. And you have to listen to everything that he has to say. Fulfill all his wishes that he may have. She said, oh, thank you so much. Thank you for giving me this information. And so she left, and their husband was nervous, waiting at the reception. What is it? What did the doctor diagnose? Am I going to die or what? Am I able to be cured or not? So when the wife came out, the husband had a question mark on his face. He said, what is it? And the wife said, honey, you are going to die. This is what she said. Why? Exploitation. She did not want that, the husband stops doing all the chores in the house. And she did not want to hear what he had to say. She could not control her anger. So she thought it's better, if I'm not able to do all this, honey, you're going to die. That is exploitation. That is trying to enjoy one's own senses. That is called sense gratification. And that is what brings us back into this material world. See? So these are unregulated people, but there are those who are regulated. Who are those? They are the ones who follow the laws of the Supreme Lord. You see? Unfortunately, unregulated activities are not auspicious at all. Why? Because such people, they are interested only in eating, sleeping, mating, defending. That's it. Just 4 activities. There is no self-realization. There's no spiritual goal. In fact, there is no goal in life. And that is why they come back into this material world. But those who are following the process given in the Bhagavad Gita, where they are trying to change their consciousness so that it becomes spiritualized, the consciousness is spiritualized, they are the ones who are able to reach their goals. And most of them, if not all, have a spiritual goal in mind. Now, those who are auspicious, who are regulated in their activities, there are 3 kinds, Prabhupada says. Following the rules and regulations of the scriptures, there are ones who are wanting to enjoy the material benefits. There are those who are trying for ultimate liberation from all this material existence. But the devotees of the Supreme Lord Krishna, they are following the laws of the Lord. And those who are following the rules for material happiness, there are 2 kinds. One is a fruitive worker, and there's another one who has no desire to enjoy the fruits of the labor. You see, we learned in chapter 3 and 5 of the Bhagavad Gita about karma yoga. How does karma work? There is sakarma, there's akarma, and there's vikarma. We learned all these in chapter 3 and 5. How does karma work? But those who are interested in fruitive work, which means I am going to do this and I want to, I'm desiring for the fruits of those activities so that I can enjoy in my life. That is sort of bondage. And such fruitive workers, the Bhagavad Gita says, they are elevated to higher standard of life or they go to higher planets, but they are all material planets. In Bhagavad Gita, we learn Abrahma bhuvana loka punaravartino Arjuna. Even if you go to the highest material planet, heavenly planet, one has to come back down into this material world. There is no freedom from the cycle of birth and death. You see? So it's important that our aim be very, very clear, very, very precise, very, very focused. Very important. The ultimate goal should be to free ourselves from this bodily concept of life, because we are not this body, we are the spirit soul. So we want to come out this bodily concept where we are only thinking about the body and not thinking about the soul at all. You see? It's not easy to perform bhakti yoga, but it has to be voluntary. It's not that someone is forcing us, to do mantra meditation. Someone is forcing us to follow the rules. No, it may be uncomfortable, but austerity is important. You see, austerity and sincerity to reach our ultimate goal. Anything that we do in our lives, austerity is required. Look at those who are the kids who are going to school. It's an austerity for them to wake up early in the morning, even though they don't want to. They want to sleep in, but they cannot, because here's the school bus waiting for them. They need to go to school. They have to sit in the school for 8 hours. That's austerity. In college life is not easy. It's austerity. There are so many projects, so much homework, so much going on. And then there's this race to win. That's austerity. At place of work, it's austerity. We have to reach on time. We have to work for 8 to 10 hours, sometimes 12 to 16 hours. That's austerity. So if we are ready to perform austerity for the material body, why not perform austerity for the spirit soul? Now, in the very next verse, number 41, Krishna says, the unsuccessful yogi who has not been successful in completing his goal, or a devotee who has not, completely become purified, they get an opportunity to continue on the spiritual path in their next life. That is the position of an unsuccessful yogi. That's the destination. You see? If that yogi has, really been quite a bit successful, will probably go to the higher planets. And after living there for a prolonged life, will come back to the earth. Will come back and then take birth in the family of devotees who are interested in spirituality. Or will be born in an aristocratic family. So the purpose of Bhagavad Gita that we read every Sunday is to show us how to reach that highest perfection, from where we do not come back into this material world. You see? It's very nice to be born in an aristocratic family. Good. It'll give us an opportunity to advance spiritually, but there still will be a choice. We will have a choice to decide, do I want to follow Bhakti Yoga, or I just want to enjoy the opulence that I have received in this life? You see, opportunities are given to us, but what do we do with those opportunities? That is a million-dollar question. We do come across in our day-to-day life different choices, right choices, wrong choices. And who has to face the consequences? We, because we made those choices. So Bhagavad Gita is very precisely explaining to us that this human form of life is not for eating, sleeping, and enjoying. Eat, sleep, and be merry. No. In this human form of life, we have got the opportunity to use our philosophical intelligence and understand, why am I suffering? If anyone says I am not suffering, that is a lie. That is not the truth at all. We all are suffering. Birth, disease, old age, death. Miseries caused by body and mind, miseries caused by others, miseries caused by material nature. We have these 7 kinds of miseries. So how can we say I am not miserable at all? Maybe today I'm happy, but there's no guarantee tomorrow I will be happy. But we do make plans. No one makes plans to be in distress, but everyone makes plans to be happy. And that happiness depends on the choices we make. You see? In school, when the children, they start, going to school from pre-K or nursery or whatever we may call it, what do they learn? A for apple, B for bat, C for cat, D for dog. This is how they learn. But then when they grow up, especially now, little children also, they are so much engrossed in screen time. They are so much into social media. Even little kids have Facebook accounts, Instagram accounts. So there is so much screen time. So for them, the ABCD changes. For them, it is A for Android, B for Bluetooth, C for chatting, D for download. This is what they are getting into. But people like me, old people who have a body that has really grown old, it's A for arthritis, B for blood pressure, C for cholesterol, D for diabetes. This is the situation. But a yogi, excuse me, someone who's practicing the path of yoga, whether it is karma yoga, jnana yoga, dhyana yoga, ashtanga yoga, or bhakti yoga, especially bhakti yoga. A bhakti yogi is one who, for him, A means A for association, associating with like-minded people, with spiritually inclined people, with devotees of the Lord, association. B stands for Bhagavad Gita, trying to understand what is Bhagavad Gita all about. It is actually an owner's manual for this body. Just like with new gadgets, we get owner's manual. Similarly, we get this Bhagavad Gita, which is the owner's manual for this human form of life. And it teaches us how to sit, how to walk, how to talk, how to work, how to sleep, everything. Teaches us all the laws of the Supreme Lord that we need to follow. You see, when we are driving on the road, we need to follow the traffic rules. And those traffic rules are given to us by the state government. So if we break those rules, then we have to face consequences. There is penalty. And if we don't follow the rules, then there is a possibility of an accident. So traffic rules need to be followed. Similarly, the rules, the laws of the Supreme Lord need to be followed. They are given to us for a certain purpose. So Bhagavad Gita that we study here every Sunday is what teaches us what are the laws of God. And C is for chanting, which is mantra meditation. Man means mind, Tra means to free the mind of all anxieties. That is why after every class on Sundays, we do mantra meditation for a little while so that we can somehow or the other cleanse our mind, cleanse our heart, so that we can see everything in right perspective. See? And D stands for devotion, performing devotional service to Krishna. Now, in verse number 42, Krishna says, if an unsuccessful yogi has practiced for a long time, then will get birth into a family where there's going to be wisdom. You see, there will be wise people in the family. And Krishna says that birth is very rare. To be born in such a family is very rare. Why? Because one will automatically receive spiritual knowledge right from childhood. Excuse me. And there'll be an opportunity. You see, and that opportunity is very, very rare. And those who are in that family, they are learned people and they are devoted. They are trained already. So it becomes easy for this child who's born in that family, that unsuccessful yogi who's been born in that family will get a wonderful opportunity to continue from where he left off in the previous life, you see. So Krishna says, very fortunate to take birth in such a family. But still, there will be no force. You got to do, you got to do. No, there'll be no force at all. There will again be a choice. You see, even though we may be born in a family which is very devoted, very spiritually inclined, but still we as individuals have a choice whether to go on that path or not. For instance, Srila Prabhupada, who has given us this Bhagavad Gita as it is, and his guru, his spiritual master, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, they both had the opportunity. They were both born in devotee families who were completely trained, who were following the rules and regulations. And they both got the knowledge and the training from their father from the very beginning of their childhood. They were fortunate and they took it up. They took it up as their life and soul and became successful. Now, in verse number 43, Krishna says, the opportunity to revive divine consciousness from previous life is given to us in the current life. Opportunity to revive. You see, say for instance, now as I was explaining, in this life, I perform only 50% of devotion, 50% of, my life is based on spirituality. And then I leave this body. Then in the next life, I'll continue from 51%. And at that time, my divine consciousness will be revived where I left off in my previous life. And again, I can try to progress for further success. You see? So when we understand this, then an intelligent person will think, well, let me finish my business in this life. Let me try to become a successful yogi in this life. So when I leave this body, I do not come back into this material world. You see, there's a very nice story of a king named Bharat in Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the essence of the Vedas. You see the books behind there. In that, there is a pastime where this king, who was the king of the whole earthly planet, his name was Bharat. You see, that's why the planet was called Bharatvarsh. See? And what happened, he decided, even though he had so much opulence, he was the king. He wanted to give up everything, go to the forest, and just meditate on the Supreme Lord. He wanted to become a successful yogi, a bhakti yogi. Now he went to the forest, giving up his kingdom. He enthroned his son to be the king and he left. But unfortunately, he did not have any association of spiritually minded people. He had no devotee association at all. And so, because he did not have any association, he one day fell in love with a baby deer and became so engrossed in taking care of the deer that his whole consciousness was deer consciousness. All he could think of or meditate upon was my baby deer. And at the time of death, his deer was not there and he was missing his deer and he was remembering the deer at the time of death. So guess what? In the next life, he took birth as a deer. This is what happens. Whatever we think at the time of death, to that state we will attain without fail. Krishna tells us in the Bhagavad Gita, Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajatante kalevaram. Whatever we think at the time of death, to that state we will attain without fail. There should be no doubt at all. That is why we try to learn Bhagavad Gita and we live our lives according to the instructions of the Bhagavad Gita, so that at the final examination time, at the time of death, our consciousness is completely clear. We are focused on our spiritual goal. We are thinking of the Supreme Lord so that we can go back to the spiritual world. So association plays an important role. Why do we meet on Sundays on Zoom or on Facebook? Why do we meet? So that we can associate with each other and learn from the Bhagavad Gita. But then it is up to us whether we want to, progress, further, if we are sincere enough to make the progress. And on Sundays, we get an opportunity to progress. Now, the last verse for today is number 44, where Krishna tells Arjuna that the divine consciousness from the previous life is automatically, carried forward in the current life, and a person becomes attracted to Krishna consciousness without even seeking it. There's just natural attraction towards Bhagavad Gita, natural attraction towards mantra meditation. You see? So once one starts following this process of mantra meditation, then there is no need to do anything else. Because according to Bhagavad Gita, Bhakti Yoga is the highest rung of the yoga ladder. There's nothing above Bhakti Yoga. So there is Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga is right on top, and that is what can bring perfection in our lives. You see, we have been, just like for every disease, there is a different medication. Similarly, the medicine for us in this Kali Yuga for trying to remove the disease of illusion from our hearts, the process is mantra meditation. It doesn't matter in which family we are born, in which country we are born, it does not matter. Because it's just the bodily identification. But the spirit soul within the heart is the same in everyone's heart. And one can purify the heart by this simple process. You see, we have 86,400 seconds in a day, in one day. An intelligent person will not even waste 1 second. You see? So now that we have got this opportunity for, associating with each other, to hear the Bhagavad Gita, to practice mantra meditation, then why not take advantage of this? See, those who are living in the past are in ignorance. Those who are planning for future, they are in the mode of passion. But those who are living in the present are in the mode of goodness. You see? Like they say, past is history, future is mystery, but the present is a gift, right? Present is a gift. It's a present right now, currently. So present is very, very important, and we should use our time wisely. So now, so far, we have learned about the destination of an unsuccessful yogi. So if we have an inclination that, or if we have, some understanding that, well, I'm still not a successful bhakti yogi, then the best thing would be to start doing mantra meditation. Because when we do mantra meditation, that is when there is going to be purification. Purification of the heart will take place. And once the heart is purified, then it will be nothing but happiness, pure happiness, which has no beginning and no end. It is permanent. It is not something that is there today and not there tomorrow. You see? So, as always, we are going to do a little bit of mantra meditation. And before we do that, we do have, I think, Marcia coming for the first time to our session. And so what I will do is I will post some links in the chat, and if you're interested, you can take advantage of it. But towards the end, you will see is the mantra that we chant every Sunday after the class. So my humble suggestion to all of you is to please chant with me. We'll just chant 10 times this whole Maha Mantra on each bead. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So you see, I chanted 10 times the mantra on each bead. There are 108 beads in this mala, and it takes about 8 minutes to chant this mantra on each bead and complete it 108 times. So it's my very, very humble request that please chant, do this mantra meditation, and you will experience peace and happiness. So I'm going to end now. If anyone has any questions or comments, you are welcome to